Hi, how are you? Happy Friday. It's a tremendous joy for me to finish the first week of the book of Mark. I enjoy reading the book of Mark. And in this windy, very windy city of Incheon, I am saying farewell to you. I am wearing my necklace that my wife purchased for three purposes because she doesn't want me to lose my passport. There are three P's that I carry here. Number one, in Spanish, plata, which means money, right here, that I must not forget before I go to the airport. Number two, my passport. And number three, my pasaje, or my ticket. There are three P's that I will never forget. And that is one of the reasons I really love my wife. Thanks to this necklace that I wear with a pen for immigration papers, I have never lost my three P's, and I have always never missed my flight, always gone in. And that's why I love my wife. Second reason why I love my wife, and she's behind the camera, she's listening to me, I have to tell it. The second reason I love my wife is because she is so patient and lovely and beautiful. Sometimes I'm next to her sitting and I'm thinking about all the flight hostess. They're all beautiful, don't get me wrong. But when I compare to my wife, she is the most beautiful to me. That's the second reason. And the third reason is because as a POW, you know what a POW is? Pastor's only wife. She is amazing. And I praise the Lord for the wonderful wife that God has given me. I want to finish with a summary. There are three things that I want to leave from the whole week. Number one, that Mark was a failed missionary. Number two, God gives a second chance to fail missionaries. I don't know who I'm speaking to. If I'm preaching to somebody who's been a failure, you probably failed in a test, you failed in a job, you failed in a relationship, you married somebody that was supposed to be forever and you filed for divorce, and I'm preaching to you right now, I'm here to tell you that God is a God of a second chance. And in the same way He gave Mark a second chance, He can also give you a second chance. That's number two. And number three, we as Christians should be always affirming the people around us. God affirmed, gave affirmation words to His Son Jesus Christ. He didn't have to, but He did it to demonstrate that affirmation, recognition. This is what God said. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. This is my only begotten child, Jesus Christ. And I agree with everything He does. He's successful. He's an excellent preacher. He is dependent. Everything he does, he consults with me. I am well pleased. I like what he does. I love what he does. He's good. He's the best. That's affirmation. When you do worship, affirm your children. Affirm your spouse. And I want to finish a little story of a little incident in which I would like to affirm. And I hope he's listening to me, because this little channel is going to the whole world. The other day, my son was telling my wonderful son was telling me that it was reaching in one sermon 1,000 people. Unbelievable. I would never have imagined preaching in a little channel for free for 1,000 people. I want to finish with a little incident. There was a man, 1983, August 19. He had turned 52, this man, 9 days before the incident. August 11. My dad also turned, his birthday is August 8. But that day, in the airport, this man was an immigration officer. And he was there when Benigno Aquino, in the airplane for China, the man who started the revolution of the whole world, the man who gave his little life of a human being and died, the man who started People's Power. And People's Power brought down Czechoslovakia and Poland and the Berlin Wall and communism and the Soviet Union. That man, the assassination of that man, was witnessed by 1,000 people from the government, including that officer, immigration officer, and his name was Benjamin Daguman. He tells me the story of the assassination. 1,000 people had been changed. All the custodials had been replaced by government workers. All the flight attendants, all the working people of the airport had been replaced because something was hiding. There was a conspiracy. This killing was organized, prepared by the military. Ferdinand, not going to mention his last name, had been in power 1965 till 1986. And in 1983, the day of the assassination, he had a kidney problem. He delegates this responsibility. Now, there's no video. It hasn't been proven. There is no video. But it had been delegated to assassinate Benigno Aquino. So when Benigno Aquino was killed and the murderer was killed and there was a huge cover-up, the immigration officer who witnessed, who was there in the airport at the Benigno Aquino, later named Benigno Aquino International Airport, was my father-in-law. A man who witnessed history, a man who's recognized, a man who cannot speak anymore, who simply smiles when we see him, a man who recognizes my wife by the shaking of the hand, calling her Anak. Are you there, Anak? A man who came to hear me preach, even though he's not in full command of his faculties. Witnessed one of the greatest events in Filipino history. He was the greatest immigration officer, recognized by pastors, recognized by elders, people who went through the airport, receiving the favor. Even John Carter from the Carter Report received the favors of this wonderful immigration officer. And today, in this video, I want to recognize my father-in-law, Benjamin Daguman Nepomuceno. But I want to finish that the book of Mark doesn't lift up the death of a human being. The book of Mark lifts up Mark 10:45. For the Son of Man did not come to be served. The Son of Man came to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. And the one who gave his life as a ransom for many wasn't Benigno. The one who gave his life as a ransom for many was Jesus Christ. You should accept him, you should be baptized, and you should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Happy Friday, happy Sabbath. I'll see you tomorrow from Los Angeles.